Taking that sweet ass time. Oh, here we are live. Here we are live.
fanboy modeling school.
Hello and welcome to the Fanboy Modeling School. I am the Fat Mantis, now in HD. I'm here with my man
Steve, also in HD. How the hell is everyone? How are you, man?
I have fought long and hard to be here today.
There you go.
It was not looking good.
Right?
I almost died in an avalanche.
Yeah.
But I'm here. An avalanche of bullshit.
You fought many little people to get here. Those tiny bastards tried to stop you.
Midgets are the worst. Midgets are the
Oh my
worst. How are you doing, brother? How are we today?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good, man. Relaxing day as I need it, man. Been off for the past couple of days, like I was telling you off air, man. So I'm chilling. I'm big chilling, as the kids say.
So, as we were getting started, I saw something someone sent me on Twitter.
Okay.
And it's a story we're gonna have to cover. We'll cover it later on, but it is like we didn't talk about it in our prep.
Okay.
But I think we're gonna want to talk about it.
What the hell is it? Do I have to wait in suspense?
Yes, you do.
Oh my goodness.
Do you have any honorable mentions for today?
I do have an honorable mention, but the honorable mention comes with a video. I forgot to mention this. Maybe I forgot. Maybe I didn't care last week. Adam22 has fired everyone from No Jumper. He did a Snapchat live.
It's getting worse. So first he fired one dude, then he fired like 6, and now he's fired literally everyone.
Well, basically what he said was that the way that No Jumper is operating now isn't profitable. He's always said it's never really been profitable. I don't know how much of that believe, but I can understand the business decision. So he's decided to end all his weak podcasts, all the weaker performing podcasts, which is all of them aside for the regular No Jumper show, the news, all that stuff, and all the hosts that were there for those shows have been effectively let go. So what he's planning on doing is running it like a DJ Vlad type situation where he'll have contributors come on and interview people, but primarily it's going to be less content, more quality content is what he's going for. And I'm wondering if it's way too late for that in the game, because that's a decision you should have made before any drama kicked off, before your wife before you announced your wife doing a porn with another guy.
He's been descending into hell. That channel's been descending into hell for a while.
Right. You're
right. This is a move that should have been made 2 years ago. Not now.
Exactly.
I don't really have a lot of faith that it's going to come back. But here's what I'm saying. If we learn anything from the internet, it is that not everything is eternal. Every great channel or Vine or even app eventually falls off.
It's true.
And no one has an eternal run. And so he had a great
except
run.
for Joe Rogan.
Yes. Although he will fail eventually. Yeah, he will fail eventually.
He's past the point of failing. He's made hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, here's what I'm saying. He's having an amazing run, but eventually he'll get stopped.
No, listen to me, brother. You got to think about this differently. You got to think about this not like a poor person like you and I are. He's already won, right? So let's say
he's won. He's won, but I'm saying his show can't go on forever.
Oh, no, he'll probably bring it into himself. If he ever gets any inkling that the public zeitgeist is no longer interested in what he has to say, I can see Joe Rogan ending it, and there's just an archive of stuff already there. And then here's the trick that Joe Rogan would play, like most successful people. It's like, yeah, I'm going to bring it to an end, leave the archive up, wait a decade or so, interest starts to build again, boom, he dies, channel takes off again. That's the key to success. Your death.
Dying.
Not
Oh,
mine.
yeah, dying.
Yours. Your death. Are you willing to die? I'm not speaking metaphorically. Are you willing to die to take Fanboy to the next level?
Where do I have to sign up?
But yeah, this is a decision.
I kid, of course. We're not talking about any of that morbid stuff, any of that dark stuff. We're keeping it very chill here.
Did you want to see the video of Adam talking about the fallout and everything? I put it in there. I figure let's be honest, it's been a lighter news week. We have some Marvel stuff to report on. And then we have the new gift to the internet that has been giving all week. Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan. The debate over genius or psychopath has left Kanye and has now moved on to Terrence Howard.
That is going to be quite the conversation. I'm kind of can't wait for that one right there. But let's see what's going on with No Jumper.
Conversation, perhaps one of the most anticipated conversations in the history of podcasting.
It's by a significant margin.
By a significant margin. It's Adam 22.
I got to say this. I'm going to say it right now. I think he's a horrible host, and I don't think he has any skills, and there's nothing interesting about him at all, except for the fact that he's married to a porn star.
Right.
He is a loser. His whole crew have been losers, and the only reason I ever entertain them is because you're into them.
The only reason I watched him is, man, because at one point the show really was the ascent and the decline is something that is amazing. At one point, he really did have his pulse on the subculture of SoundCloud hip hop and that whole scene, and then he brought in Sharp, and he was like kind of just like into the gang culture. So it was interesting until it stopped being interesting.
Shaolin says Terrence Howard was talking all kinds of gibberish. That shiz was very strange. It was strange, and I actually can't wait to get into that video. But let's see what this dude has to say.
It's Brick Baby and it's Lush Uno. Yeah. And we've come together. A lot of people seem to think that No Jumper is done for, that all of this content is over. I beg to differ. In fact, I think we're better than ever.
I feel like this is a narrative that pops up every 6 months or anytime there's a significant change to the programming. The initial shockwave of a narrative is it's a wrap. And that has been like that for a long time. Anytime people don't like change, people don't like what they're, you know what I mean? Like they become accustomed to something.
This guy that's speaking right here, Lush, this is something we'd never cover it because it wasn't worth covering. He publicly got fired from No Jumper, like one of the most public firings ever during a live stream over some Discord drama. Like,
That's what I'm saying. This place is too chaotic, and so I mean, this guy's like talking nonsense. But like the thing is, he's right. People don't like change. He's absolutely right on that. However, people, particularly internet viewers, are fickle people.
Yes,
there's no substance in any of these types of podcasts, including ours. And so our fans could walk away, just like his fans could walk away at the drop of a hat.
Yeah,
right.
It's funny. One day we're gonna have to do a podcast about that in regards to the infrastructure and the retention rate of podcasts, because I think what makes a successful hallmark of a podcast that just like stands the test of time, as we've seen it thus far in this small microcosm, this small, just small amount of time of podcasting, is when they have complete creative control and just enough corporate backing to get them through the hard times. You know what I'm saying? And then like a litany of guests and bookings, which is why like I got to look at something like Rogan's show, and I got to look at Joe Budden's podcast, which Joe Budden's podcast is supposed to have a nail in it a couple of times, 2 distinct times for sure.
And then he rose. I wouldn't say like a phoenix because I don't think he fully crashed at any point, but he certainly pulled it off. And actually, to be honest, back in the day, that was Rogan.
Really?
So Rogan was never a constant rise. There was a period where he rose and then he flatlined for a bit, and then suddenly he took off again.
Really?
It's funny, yeah. People were like, "Wow, Joe Rogan's doing his thing." Joe Rogan had already been in the game for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Before he hit true popularity.
I think so you're referring to the more niche market, but he was still doing great numbers. I want to say it was during the culture war, the advent of the culture wars, which has already been going on, but like when it really hit the internet, having people on like Jordan Peterson, Candace Owens, and even before then, man. Like, obviously, Spotify was paying attention because they saw great value in Rogan's podcast and still see great value in Rogan's podcast. I think he might be the only person that's still getting a bag. They were like, Meghan Markle, fuck you. Joe Budden left on his own. Academics, I don't know if his show is still going. But to the no jumper point, man, this almost is sad to me because if any podcast had the opportunity to ride that line between different subcultures, it was no jumper. It's just I don't know what the vision was, bringing a bunch of gang culture from LA and not expecting gang culture to impact the way your business operates. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not to say. Go ahead.
If you look at Adam 22's behavior back when he was like a Vine star, back in the early days, he has always just been some impulsive guy. Like, he doesn't even have a genre. He doesn't really know what he's just like, I'm just going to have a podcast. Motherfuckers are going to talk. You know what I mean? So he never had a plan, basically. And so he kind of fell into popularity. He pulled it off. I got to hand it to him. Really got to hand it to him.
Well, I mean, so in the beginning, it was him, Cam Girl, and my man that he outed for having coitus with the transgender adult actress. What's this?
I can't keep track of these D-rated podcasts. I do remember the drama. I remember the drama of it and how they outed him on his on the channel.
Yeah, it was
so
crazy.
They outed their own boy on their own channel just for clicks. It's
absolutely crazy. But go ahead, play. Let's see what this genius, because Adam likes to
become infatuated with it, and then at a certain point they become dependent on it.
Because No Jumper had millions of subscribers when it was just me doing interviews, and then we start doing the No Jumper show one time a week for like an hour. And like, then we start doing multiple shows, stuff starts, expanding, but it's like, we had millions of subscribers from just the interviews.
What are you talking about? We made you, Adam.
What are you talking about? So all this now, though, I could take back whatever the heck I want. But you know what? All right. This is the ultimate example of how you can't control the narrative at all. Because before this happened, I remember thinking like, how am I going to put this out there in such a way that the narrative doesn't become Adam fired all the hosts?
Well,
I want to talk real quick. And so this is about us. This is about podcasters across the globe. This is about all sorts of things. Something that irritates me, I hate it, and I think it's bad production, and I think it's bad for business. Like I said, we do it. Almost everyone does it. It's not good. I hate it when you get so meta that you're talking about the production of your podcast. And so here he is. He doesn't have anything else in the world to talk about other than his podcast. And so he's like, or his channel, should I say his channel? And so he's just like, let me talk about how I run the channel and how I operate on the channel. And so he's becoming a narcissist talking about himself rather than reporting about other people, which was the point of this channel.
Yeah, he is the news as opposed to reporting on news, which is what you don't want to be as a network, as a broadcasting. And it's crazy, man. He really, I just don't think he sees it, man. I don't think he sees the harm that he's done to his friends and his relationships. I don't think that he sees that the poor decision making on trying to capitalize, or maybe it wasn't 100% trying to capitalize off of gang culture. But what did you think was going to happen? What did you think the drama was going to get you?
I think he thought it would bring clicks. I think he wanted that. I actually think I think that was part of his plan. He was like, he's like, it's going to be drama. People are going to pull guns on each other. There's going to be a beating in the studio at least every 2 weeks.
Right.
And which there was, and he got it. And I'm sure it was a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, it chased people away rather than brought them in.
Yeah.
And so another thing I got to say is and once again, this is sheer speculation. I have no evidence. I do not know Adam 22, but he's clearly on drugs.
He claims that
talk. He reminds me of a few addicts I used to know.
He claims that he hasn't hit the hard stuff in a while. He was a pill popping Adderall type of guy, but I don't believe that shit either.
I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. Let's see what this clear drug addict, pure speculation, once again, don't actually know him, is doing.
I realized very quickly that's just not possible.
But
There's no way.
but you did, and I mentioned several times, like Adam specifically made note of the fact that nobody is fired. It just obviously that got glanced over, you know. But also like and I could be tripping, but from where I'm standing, it seemed like it wasn't a very like. I don't want to say well thought out, but it wasn't a long thought out decision. I feel like
it was only a couple days. I'm gonna be totally honest.
Yeah.
Yo, real quick, I thought I had old nomenclature when I say yo and all this stuff. He said tripping.
Yeah.
He said tripping like this was the early '90s, and he's listening.
No.
No.
Bro, check this out, man. I remember when I first moved to LA, and everyone was like, "Yo, man, why you tripping?" I'm like, "What are you saying to me?" I'm like, "What?"
Tripping. I was a boy when I last heard tripping. What you mean, fool?
It's a common term, but he's Lush is one of those guys too, man.
So you didn't like have a press release. You didn't have a whole.
Let me just make this point before I answer that. But like, I was talking to Vlad. Vlad stopped doing the website part of VladTV.com, which for real hardcore Vlad fans will know. That was a very, very big part of his business and of his brand for a long time.
It's the only website I went to for like a fat minute.
Right, it was like the other World Star at a certain point, and it was like a little bit less commodified than World Star.
It replaced significantly less commodified.
And there's tons of like historic stuff that happened because of the blog. Like the fact that Joe Budden doesn't get along with Vlad still is directly because of stuff that Vlad posted on the blog when having a blog was like a really big deal.
Right.
And Vlad has told me the numbers
and all the ransom drama
that they used to pull in from the blog was like very significant at one point. Like at one point, that stuff that was way more significant than YouTube to them.
Yeah.
I say all that to say that Vlad told me that they got rid of like the news. So if you go to VladTV.com now, you just see his interviews posted, right?
He loves Vlad.
He told me that he was really racking his brain trying to figure out how he was going to announce that to the world, but he ultimately decided that there was no way for him to announce that they weren't doing the blog anymore without it sounding like he just wasn't doing interviews anymore, because blogs are so irrelevant at this point that most people, they hear like, oh, Vlad TV is shutting down. They're going to think that the whole thing is shutting down. So he didn't even make the announcement, which I think was smart, because I agree with him that he probably wouldn't have been able to announce it in a way that
guess what?
Give people the wrong idea.
And now it's at a point, I went from that being my number one source of news, literally. Like I'm checking Vlad's website before DX, before there's no other hip hop site I'm checking at that point. World Star's been out the window since, RIPQ, you know what I mean? And several changes in management and several.
Yo, so what is he talking about right now? He's talking about exactly what I said before, that every website, app, streamer, podcaster, they have this golden age. It could last for long periods of time. Rogan's keeping it real for a while. But at the end, they all end up becoming unpopular. Younger people don't want to listen to them or go to them for whatever, and they leave. And he's describing what I'm talking about, literally word for word, right here.
You have a strong affinity and hatred of young people.
I do. They're disgusting animals. And so here's what it is. What I love about young people is they're disgusting animals who are going to grow into people, and they're going to do their thing. And I love that. And that's amazing. And you go you. However, while you're young people, you're a moron. And don't worry. I was a moron. I was absolutely a moron. But I the one thing that I know is that young people don't know anything. And you're useless. And so, I don't need to hear about your thoughts on Palestine or your thoughts about World Star Hip Hop.
Every once in a while, you meet an insightful young person, but it's like meeting an insightful gerbil.
No, yes, exactly. It's like a dog who barks, but it sounds like he's saying hello, and you're like, "Oh my god, he said hello!" My mind is blown right now. No, it's just an idiot. It's just an animal being an animal. One day they will grow. One day you will be a person. You will have substance, and you will have intelligent thoughts, and you'll be able to carry on a conversation. That time is not now,
right?
And so I have no use for you.
I want to jump on that for a second. Pause. In regards to the volatile, unsustainable market that you're describing with podcasts, I think this has a lot to do with the way things are on the internet now, right? Because at a certain point, your fans not only want to leave, they want to see you fail. It seems to be the thing now, man. Look what's happening with that poor bastard.
Green Goblin said it best.
Yeah.
They love watching a hero rise and then fall.
Yeah.
He said
And look
that
what's
in
happening to
Trilogy.
Drake. I'm not going to let anyone forget. Drake was your man less than a year ago.
Everybody loved Drake. Now they want to see him. They want to see him shot and buried. First, they want him humiliated, and then shot and buried. But you're right.
It's absolutely insane. We don't have to keep going with the no jumper stuff, man, because honestly, there's a way more impactful stuff. I'm only following this because I want to see what he plans on doing if he's going Vlad, because this is a decision you should have made years ago, man. You should have just kept it to interviews, interesting characters coming on, which I know, trust me, I'm an interviewer, man. It's a pain in the ass getting people on a constant basis and hoping that they actually deliver and during the interview and the chemistry's there. I get that. But when you're a big enough channel, that's why. And also, I got to only stick up for Adam 22 just a little bit, man. If you are non-Black, Latino, Latinx, if you're not a minority in the hip hop space, it's only one bad move before some angry, hating ass motherfucker calls you a vulture, right? And then everyone's jumping on that bandwagon. And I actually feel for the whites in the hip hop space sometimes, a little bit. I feel I'm like, you're one bad joke, one misplaced word.
Oh yes, I absolutely feel bad. And like the one person who has ever been exempt from it is Eminem, and I don't know how he pulls it off because. Honestly, he's not even immaculate in what he does. He has had some questionable songs, and I don't mean like violent and crazy. I mean some bad songs, bad choice of friends like D12. Like as soon as D12 came in, they should have been like, "You're out of hip hop."
Why you didn't like D12?
Are you kidding me?
It's amazing.
They're a joke. They're a total joke.
Do you know how Eminem has managed to do it? The same way that Floyd Mayweather has done it. Floyd Mayweather's production is a clown show for many years, is what people would call it. But at the end of the day, here's the truth about Floyd Mayweather. There's a good chance, I'd say 99%, that Floyd would fuck you up if you said any dumb shit to his face. like, no, and then follow me. With Eminem, here's the truth, right? Ja Rule went after that once, got bodied, right? Irv Gotti went down.
I don't know why Ja Rule thought he had enough clout to do that.
Because he had motherfuckers gassing him up. And then, you had Jermaine Dupri.
like Kanye West when Jay-Z and Beyonce were gassing him up at that VMAs.
Listen,
they were like,
and here's the crazy
go get
thing.
justice.
Here's the crazy thing. Everyone knows that the fool can rhyme. So you can go at him enough. He's had some bad songs for sure. But the fact of the matter is, Eminem is probably better than most of your favorite rappers in a straight up in rap's purest form, which is battle. And if you start a battle with him, then he has nothing but you have his undivided attention. And just think about how that's going over for people. Cannabis, horrible.
Low, welcome in,
What up,
brother.
Lo?
So I would say
you name one other mainstream rapper that can actually hold their own in a real battle.
I'm not talking about battling because battling has already been proven over time to not actually be something that brings people fame. It's definitely cool. It's street worthy and all these things. I think Eminem has a different thing going for him.
What's that?
White fans. Boom.
White fans.
He's got more white fans than anyone else, and so
they turned on him first. To be honest with you, the white
there is nothing like a white person who likes Eminem. No offense, guys. I love. Some of my favorite people are white people. My favorite accountant is a white guy. So please, don't come at me.
You know what? You're stuck in a time capsule. I got to tell you this, man. His white fans were the ones who jumped ship first. I will say, here's one thing he has going for him. Bro, I've been following this dude's career.
You don't follow white people, clearly, because tons of white people are fucking all about him. Go to anyone who's between the ages of 35 and 45, and every white kid is.
You're talking about our age rate. Of course, they listen to the same mixtapes we did.
The white kids. I'm saying the white kids.
They're not kids. If you're between 30 and 45, you're not a kid. You're not a kid. You're a grown ass man.
Okay. Point Steve on that. Anyway, we're not kids anymore. But, I mean, the point is, you know, I don't even remember what the point was.
Here's the point. Here's the point, man. No Jumper has something that I wish I had, man. They have a functional studio. Adam should have kept his nut small, pause. And it's like, once you get the studio, just build from there, man. Just keep the interviews going, right? He had the BMX vlog. I would have kept that going. And here's the thing I need to tell white content creators going into hip hop adjacent or hip hop commentary. Fuck these hating ass black motherfuckers that would call you a culture vulture. Because look, you had that bitch on the fucking podcast saying that Drake has culture vulture ways. And I'm like, yo, this is amazing to me. Y'all don't get to talk about Drake now. I've been shitting on this fool for years. Y'all got to go down with the ship. Is that not right? Is that not fair?
Lo says, who wants small nuts, though?
Well, you don't want big nuts in your teeth. What?
What's your next video?
We got a few things in the Discord.
Oh,
here,
you want to jump to Terrence Howard? I think Terrence Howard will light this fire.
Yes, because if we talk about Blade, I'm just gonna get upset, and that's why
I'm gonna get really angry.
That's why I didn't respond in the fucking the private chat when you put it there. I was walking the dog, and then I realized as I'm walking, I'm doing my breathing exercises, but I didn't notice that I was now holding my dog furiously by the leash.
Right. Oh my god! Just seeing the cover of that video, I was like, "Gonna murder someone." You know, it was like that. It was like that '70s show when the dude turns into the Hulk. I think it was called The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's funny that you picked such an interesting video to do this. So it's not just any commentary on it. This is moist, isn't it?
It's moist and
moist critical.
Moist critical is white boy 2.0. Moist, I mean that with the utmost respect. Let me tell you why. He is not the white boy that you and I grew up with that felt this racial pressure to not commentate on anything that had to do with a black or a brown or yellow person. Right? Moist is the new white guy where it's just like, I'll say what I want when I want, and he's fairly intellectual. He's a really smart guy. I'm surprised that this is on his radar, to be honest with you. Usually he just
calls himself moist. How smart can he be?
He's a fairly intelligent dude, man. His commentary on Sneeko is always hilarious to me. Now I'll let you make up
that was funny.
I'll let you make up your own mind, but yeah.
Yo, so Lo says Drake is absolute trash. I've always hated him. Drake's polarity has never made sense. Monotone, auto-tune, mofo.
Lo, listen to me. You and me are in the same. We're in the same boat. But to watch people now. Oh, and let me just finish my point. To the white content creator in the hip hop world, don't let nobody tell you where you're allowed to go or what you're allowed to do. Yeah, just don't get cornrows, wear do-rags, or
no, actually do those things. Do those things. And I'll tell you why. I know it sounded like I was very critical on. It sounded like I was opening the gateway to hating on white people in rap. I obviously don't believe that. As a mulatto, I can't possibly believe those things, and I don't believe those things. I actually don't believe in a cultural appropriation. It's some made-up leftist bullshit to get angry about stuff. If you want to wear cornrows and rap, and you're white, go crazy, go ham. If you got skills. You're gonna get a pass. If you don't, they'll eat you alive.
Wait, let me ask you a question. When's the last time you culturally appropriated some Chinese food, man? Is that not appropriation? Going into a Chinese restaurant? You ever find yourself bowing to the person behind the counter at the Chinese restaurant?
Have fried chicken and fried rice and fry it hard. Fry it real hard. Then I take the fried rice and I dump mad duck sauce on it to make it sweet because I don't like even Americanized fried rice.
Yeah.
I know.
Let me tell you about the time that my wife and I went into an actual authentic Chinese restaurant. Like, you know how you would stagger into one in Chinatown in New York, like in the city? Every once in a while you go to one, you're like, oh, there's no chicken wings on this menu. And I can't read this menu. And that's a whole fucking duck over there. We staggered into one of those places and we got up like the tourist we were and we left because we culturally respected them in their space. Right?
I'm going to respect your culture by walking out. But yo, let's get on up on this Terrence Howard thing.
Moist things.
Moist species. That is just a fact. People are throwing away
any level of thinking and rationality just to believe in the most outlandish garbage imaginable and just falling victim to every scam you could ever possibly drum up. 3 days ago, the stupid man's genius, Terrence Howard, went on Joe Rogan's podcast, and Joe Rogan only piped up for 13 minutes out of this 3-hour Arkham Asylum debriefing. That's 13 minutes worth of speaking from Rogan here. The rest was Terrence Howard brainwashing idiots into thinking that he's some kind of enlightened genius. For almost a decade now, Terrence Howard has gone on this international mission to convince the world that teriology is the future. That's what he calls his logic language. Teriology. Let that just marinate in your noodles up here for a
I
second.
love it. Pause it.
You're
Let's read
believing
it.
in a guy
Go back
who's
to it. Let's
fucking
read it.
preaching
Go
about.
back.
Let's read teriology. I love it. All right. In 2015, in 2015 interview with Rolling Stone, Howard explained that he formulated his own language of logic, which he called teriology, and which he was keeping a secret until he had painted it. The logic language, he claimed, would be used to prove the statement 1 × 1 = 2. How can it equal 1? He said. If 1 × 1 = 1, that means that 2 is of no value because 1 times itself has no effect. 1 × 1 = 2 because the square root of 4 is 2. So what's the square root of 2? Should be 1, but we're told it's 2, and that cannot be. Howard blames his leaving Pratt over disagreement with a professor regarding this hypothesis. He also stated that he spends many hours a day constructing models of plastic and wire that he painted and claims to confirm his belief. In 2017, Howard published his proof of the claim 1 × 1 = 2 on his Twitter account. Some concerns were raised on the logical consistency of Howard's thinking.
What the fuck did I just hear? Can someone explain this one to me?
What's the square root of 4?
Yeah, Lowe says I don't know math, but I know 1 × 1 is not 2. Lowe says that is real. I saw this on a clip and thought it was joke. No, I actually saw more. Yeah, I saw a couple of clips from the show. He says, Terrence Howard, what a tool, says Lowe. Matt says, hail to the chat. What up, Matt?
Hail to Matt. What's up, Matt?
Hail, Matt. Steve. What up, Pony? Welcome
What
in.
up, Pony? What
He
up,
says, I haven't
everyone?
seen Terrence the same since Hustle and Flow. Hustle and Flow, what a good movie.
It was. He didn't want to play the character at first. He was like, his original response to when he read the script was like, it just seems like another stereotypical character with no depth. And then he chose to do it because he felt like he could bring depth to it. At that time, I thought that was a very insightful, and still believe that's insightful. And then he did Empire, which is basically the continuation
the same
story.
character for like 6 seasons.
Empire is literally the sequel to Hustle and Flow.
Yeah. People literally headcanon. People literally are like, I just consider them the same characters because the stories are almost the same. And actually, what's her face played a hoe in that too, right? The mom was just one of his hoes.
Yeah. She was his bottom bitch. If you don't know what that term means, go look it up. Not here to educate.
Don't be looking it up. You have better things to do with your life. How does he not understand why multiplication is? And I don't understand that either, but we're going to watch more of how crazy.
Marinating your noodles up here for a second. You're believing in a guy who's fucking preaching about teriology. So, there already exists so many people that have broken down everything Terrence Howard is wrong about in the teriology logic language system. I'm just going to focus on his biggest one.
Here's what I'm saying. I want to do a quick history of math, like super quick. Basic multiplication is basic multiplication. It's so basic, people have had it outlined for many a years going on and on. When people talk about calculus not making sense, calculus was the language they used to explain stuff they saw in astrophysics. Right? Because you can't really explain the universe with basic math, and you had to have more elaborate things. But I'm saying when it comes to basic stuff like addition or multiplication, that is pretty much sealed.
Yeah, that is the root of reality, right? It's
Yeah.
not up for conjecture. The problem is, Mantis. Here's the problem, right? The problem is I'm right, and this is the end result of
You're right.
what? Subjective.
Right. Subjective reality plus the internet. Subjective truth. My truth plus the internet means people don't believe in math anymore. My truth plus the internet means the world could be flat.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It's
and
out
I
of
gotta
hand, but
just- Go ahead, brother.
it's not just the subjective nature of it, but it's also like my personal crazy beliefs get to be regurgitated all over you. They're literally, Terrence Howard is just throwing up all over our laps.
Yeah,
And we're just letting it happen.
he's pulling a George Bush.
Yes.
You got that
By the way-
reference. Thank you.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I did. I was about to follow through with it, but it's more racist talk.
Oh my goodness. Let's continue. Now, again, Moist
One
is not a beacon of truth in and himself. He's just a commentator, right?
Right.
He's just a commentator. I don't think he's ever presented himself that way. He reminds me of a more stoic version of Destiny in some regards, but let's go on. This is how cults are formed, D. Yes,
You're right,
yes,
dude.
it is.
times 1 equals 2. That is something that he has built his entire fucking identity
Bex.
around when it comes to his math. And for the first 9 years of this one-man traveling circus, everyone laughed at him because it's so outrageous. If we followed teriology, cars, phones, planes, medicine, literally everything that is keeping you alive right now would not exist because his logic language is fundamentally wrong. It's not up for interpretation. He is provably wrong in every possible measurement. And I want to dive into this deeply because so many people are thinking that he is correct. They are throating his cock and balls, literally
Wait. He actually has people who believe this?
Yeah, I told you there's an actual debate going on about whether or not he's a genius or a psychopath. And I told at the onset of this, I told you the conversation has now moved away from Kanye to Terrence.
See, it's funny when you said that. I thought you were talking about his social because he also during this podcast said a bunch of social stuff.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about Hotep theory and all sorts of crazy stuff. I assumed
Oh,
they were talking
yeah,
about that.
100%.
I didn't know they were talking about his math stuff.
I know God damn it. All of it's connected. When it comes to crazy shit, it's all interconnected. Mantis, how many times have I screamed on this very podcast when I debate these people? It is, in fact, one of the most interesting things because I'll be like, hey, this is the topic. This is what we're talking about. And somehow they try to introduce some other shit. I'm like, hey, man, we're talking about this. Now, if you can explain to me how A is B and that calculates to C being this and black people or Native Americans and how that has to do with our original topic, fuck it. Let your freak flag fly. You are not a grizzled veteran of this psychopath mantis. I was in Facebook groups with these people and I'm like, what in God's green earth are you talking about? Put that fucking triangle down and explain your point.
Right. Bex says hashtag fangirls for fanboys. Love you, Bex. Welcome
What up,
in.
Bex?
Everyone's giving Bex that love. And then Lowe says, I love the visuals of Terrence Howard sitting on the floor with Play-Doh and straws making models of this, right? It's like a beautiful mind when the music is playing and he's like,
Terrence Howard is the only guy to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! He's that Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan. Yeah, I said
I
it.
hate Yu-Gi-Oh!
Everyone hates Yu-Gi-Oh! Everyone hates Yu-Gi-Oh! But there's always one guy. It's like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the superior offering to Pokemon. I'm like, I hate both those shows, but Pokemon at least makes sense.
Okay, so Matt Cat says, I want Howard back as Rhodey. Hashtag justice for Terrence Howard. And you know what? I completely agree with that.
No,
And
his bum ass asked for too much money, man. Get him out of here. Could you imagine having to deal with this shit on top of
That
all
is
the
not
other
what
fucking
happened.
stuff?
That is not what happened.
Listen to me. You listen to me right now. You and Matt are about to prove that you want wokeness in the MCU.
No, this is the opposite of wokeness because Don Cheadle or Cheadle or whatever the hell his name is a
respected
beta Democrat who is wokeness.
Wait. Did Terrence Howard talk about Hotepian belief structures? Yes or no?
He did.
Are you trying to tell me that he wasn't going to introduce that shit at the conversation
Okay,
table.
wait on. Just go. Wait on. Go. Let's teleport back before he had some sort of crazy psycho rant.
He's always believed this shit.
He's always believed it. What I'm saying is that here's what it is. Typically, when you're in a movie and you win a sequel, you have to win a sequel. You have to earn it.
Right.
You get some sort of pay raise.
Right.
They did not offer him a pay raise.
Oh, okay.
And so Terrence Howard was like, F you, and stormed off. And then that's when they got Don Cheadle, right?
Okay.
All I'm saying is the role of Rhodey is better as Terrence Howard, and they should have given him his money. That's all I'm saying. Regardless of his politics, his belief on math, his belief on Martians and the universe and spirits and shit.
Wait.
My man should have been Rhodey this entire time.
Don Cheadle is not only the superior actor. Fact. That's a whole fucking.
No, wait, hold
fact.
on. If you want to say just I don't even think general actor, but I'm saying Don Cheadle is a beta male and does not represent a black man who's been in the military. He is clearly faking it in all of these movies.
And Terrence Howard does, the nigga with the perm.
Yeah.
No, what are you talking?
Terrence Howard's crazy, so he'll cut you. How do you not see that? How do you not see that? Motherfuckers with perms are the people you need to be scared of more than anyone. Honestly, I would never turn my back on someone with a perm. Are you freaking kidding me right now?
You make valid points about the perm. If he's got a perm, if a brother's got a slick back on a comb.
That says I love Moist Critical. Let's see. Everyone is just they're laughing and saying hi to each other. Okay, agreed. He is superior, says Bex. She agrees.
Bex is talking about Don Cheadle.
Oh, because it's colorism, right? Not my roadie. Hashtag not my roadie. Gonna make a trend.
Yeah, Terrence Howard's hair is too good to be Rhodey. In the comics, Rhodey had circular beaded hair, which usually in the Marvel comics and is supposed to mean he has nappy
Cheadle is not Rhodey, okay?
He's Rhodey, and he's got chest hair, like Rhodey the character. Terrence Howard's just another light skin trying to get in where he don't
I actually
fit.
can't have this debate on air because I'm going to say some things. It's going to upset a lot of you.
Listen to me.
Bex.
Listen to me. The light skins need to stay in their place. We have segregated roles for you guys. Ambiguous racially characters, or
he
when
was the first roadie, he will be the last roadie.
Listen, if we can't find someone to fill the Puerto Rican role, that's when we grab a light skin.
They're like, put on a do-rag. People will guess what you are. I understand y'all light-eyed MFers gonna stick together, but nah. Oh, so she loves Cheeto. Cheeto is such a beta. But we digress. Let's get further
back
down.
to moist.
Covering all over his meat because he went on Rogan and used words they didn't understand. So since they didn't understand the words, they took it as a sign that this guy's the fucking chosen one when it comes to math. I'm not even mad at Terrence Howard. I want to make that clear.
What's up,
I'm mad that a lot of people think Terrence Howard is right. I'm more mad at the gullibility of people to just take this at face value without doing any level of thinking for themselves. It's so easy now for people to just throw away their own thoughts and just let people tell them what they should believe in. They're like, yep, that sounds right. I want to believe in that, so I will. It's so fucking frustrating.
But you know what the problem is? In his own argument, even though, don't get me wrong, I believe in what he's saying, and I unfortunately am on the side of someone named Moist. What a name. But Moist. God damn it. Why do I have to agree with this dude? I love it that the argument when somebody's saying something somebody doesn't like, the argument is always like, you're not thinking for yourself. You're not thinking for yourself. However, we should think like you to think for ourselves.
Well, here's
thinking for myself is thinking like Moist.
No, thinking for yourself wouldn't be thinking like Moist, but we have to agree on objective things, right? And this is where
I'm saying the argument that thinking
I'm agreeing
for
with
yourself,
you.
that's a fallacy.
I'm agreeing with you, right? Everyone is somehow influenced, impact by some type of worldview that blah 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 blah. The thing about it though is we have to be willing to call out like crazy shit, right? And this is the funniest part, right? I love that this happens sometimes because Christians get it the worst. Like I told you before, everyone's terrified of Muslims. Intellectually, you guys are like terrified to confront a Muslim on anything. Like most people are. But when it happens to the crazy new age Hotepian brothers like Terrence Howard, this shit is hilarious to me. Because at the beginning of the interview, I was like, wow, what an interesting pick for Joe Rogan, man. I'm like, I wonder who set this up, who booked it, right? And now I wish I could hear Joe Rogan's thoughts on it. Because Terrence Howard, this isn't the first time he did this. He was invited on The Real, a show with a bunch of bum bitches that used to come on in the morning. Jeannie Mai, the one that's trying to destroy Jeezy's life right now, was one of the hosts. And one of the wholesome twin sisters from the show, Sister, the good one, not the bad sister. The bad sister is the one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the bad sister is the one that just broke her husband's heart and went off to go find herself, and now she's alone at 50. Here, Terrence Howard came on that show and started talking about splitting atoms and pulling moisture from certain things. And I remember, like, I was not paying attention. My wife was watching it, and I turned around when I heard this motherfucker because I'm used to hearing this type of bullshit. And when he started talking, I was like, "Oh, well, this idiot's gone."
Matt Cat says, "Yeah, Mantis. I also hate it when people say you need to educate." Yeah, exactly. The biggest ones they say is you're a sheep. You don't listen for yourself, or you don't educate yourself.
And then they put up a Trump 2024 poster on this.
Right, but like the argument is like they don't realize the counter argument is they're saying, if you were educated, you would think like me.
Yeah.
If you thought for yourself, then you would think like me. It is the most arrogant, narcissistic, stupid fucking thought process ever possible. And he is engaging in this nonsense. Now, unfortunately, I happen to agree with like his statement on reality. 1 times 1 is 1. Like, yeah, obviously. And Terrence Howard,
are you sure?
Ass fool.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Are you sure that 1 times 1 is 1?
Yeah.
Because you could be offending someone right now.
Oh, am I offending somebody?
You could be offending people by assuming that 1 times 1 can only ever result.
Math is racist, right? Math is inherently racist.
Math is racist. It's sexist. It's exclusionary. It's all those things.
White supremacy. You know, math and it's white supremacy. Okay.
So much slander. Bex is referring to one of the twins from Sister as the good twin as opposed to the bad twin. The bad twin went off to go find herself listening to a bunch of Crystal Whirlden bitches and now is alone after breaking up with the love of her life. And
as a man whose mother was too busy to be a mother or to be a wife because she was finding herself, I'm going to have to agree with you, brother. That bitch is toxic. Now let's get to actually Terrence's words.
That's good.
Frustrating because that sets us so far back. Now, before I even dive deep into this rabbit hole, I want to tackle his biggest one that he has always put on the boxing gloves and fought for the honor of, which is 1 times 1 equaling 2. He even made his own YouTube video here explaining how 1 times 1 equals 2.
Oh my God, should we play that video?
Admittedly, if you set aside
can you find me that video?
Yeah, I got you.
everything that he's wrong about, he's still fucking wrong. He doesn't even come close to accidentally tickling something correct. He is fishing around in the dark looking for a urinal to piss on, but he keeps pissing on the floor because he can't find it. He doesn't decide to just turn the lights on. He wants to live in this absolute void of light.
D says women are oppressed by math. Yo, by the way, I will say that is funny because women are bad at math. But Morris Critical is not making any good points right now. He is just constantly he keeps repeating himself, insulting Terrence Howard.
Ad hominem attack.
He needs to start having actual proof or dissect the video or something like that. But simply saying he's an idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about. Can you elaborate, brother? Can you elaborate? I don't think he can. Lowe says we got to see those.
Yeah, I just sent it to you.
Matt says, math is not racist. It's universal. It's the same in every language. This is how we will speak to aliens if they existed, but they don't. For starters, Matt, I can't believe I let this comment through. Clearly, aliens exist. because the galaxy is so goddamn big, right? So obviously there have to be aliens. I didn't realize.
I love how you
realize-
trailed off right there. Saying it's so goddamn big. So obviously that means what you mean to say is the probability is high. You would think in a vast galaxy that there would be other forms of life.
And I know Matt is just trying to troll me because obviously he believes in aliens. Look.
Are you not gonna let Moist Nate finish his point?
No, I'm not. I think he made a point. I think this fool
His
has
only
made
point
it.
is Terrence Howard's bad commentary bad. I would send you the Rogan interview with Terrence Howard, but I don't know. Rogan seems like a cool guy. It doesn't seem like he would copyright strike you, but maybe someone on his team would. So I'm not going to send it.
Right. They have a bunch of lawyers who will do all sorts of horrible things.
He probably isn't even aware of those people. He's like, dude,
Right. He doesn't know what's going on. It's the same thing. Supposedly Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, her lawyers. They go on Etsy, and if you made like a Taylor Swift sweater and you're just like an independent person like selling those, they will sue you.
Thank God.
They will destroy. She's the most litigious person on the world.
Good
However, when people asked her like, "You're suing 14-year-old girls," she's like, "I have lawyers. I don't know what's going on."
Yeah.
And who knows if that's true, but
yeah, it's the same thing that the dictator of peace would say. I was unaware that we were doing such things in the name
were
of
we
peace.
committing genocide? I had no idea. I'm over here planting trees.
But you're planting the trees on these people's homes.
And their graves. Are those graves? Oh, I'm sorry.
Here we go. Terrence Howard.
Wow, he has an intro and everything.
That is the absolute truth. Well,
Yeah, that's Low is spitting truth right now. The reason why leftists say math is oppressive is because math is objectively true, and anything objectively true is oppressive to a liberal. Absolutely. Matt says I choose violence, man. Dragon Lady, welcome in.
welcome, Dragon Lady.
An exploration of the nature of the square root of 2.
Mang.
by Terrence Howard.
Mang.
Just as the symbol
Mang.
What is he
Two.
talking like?
signifies the combination 1 plus 1, the symbol for the square root of 2 satisfies the equation x times x equals 2.
What's up, Bodie?
Now, on a larger scale, the history of numbers has largely been the journey from concrete reality into the imagination. Does this equation have a solution? Can it? We have repeated this cycle in our passage from the natural numbers to the integers,
Pause it for just 1 second.
introducing negative integers.
Yeah, for 1 second. I have to say something in all seriousness. If you are the type of person that is susceptible to logical fallacy or half thought out processes, this video is going to appeal to you on a very deep level. I suggest you put your headphones on mute and wait for me to hold my finger back up once the madness has subsided. Nothing he's saying here is actually true. Some things are true, but his conclusion is false.
Do you see how he's covering it up with soothing music, intelligent music, right? That's the type of music you see in math documentaries and like all these things.
Yeah.
So he's emulating the style of someone who knows who they're talking about.
Yeah, like Eckhart Tolle or Louis Farrakhan.
We shall continue. Beck says, good. Why TF are they making Taylor Swift sweaters and mugs unnecessary trash? Pony, welcome in. How are you?
It's true, man. It's true. I'm telling you
Did he
that
really make this in the third person? He did.
he did. He
I'm
absolutely
just
did.
hearing Maine after every pause.
Mang.
Maine. Maine. Let's see what Maine has to say about this.
In our passage from natural numbers to positive rationals, introducing ratios. In our passage from rational numbers to algebraic numbers, introducing roots. In our passage from algebraic numbers to real numbers, introducing limits. And in our passage from real numbers to complex numbers, where we introduce solutions to the equation x times x equals -1. Now, so great is history's momentum that we take these number systems as universal truth. Why? Indeed, any mathematician with an understanding of category theory and abstract algebra would object to the special emphasis placed on these particular systems. They are useful in some applications, I will say, but they are fallaciously applied to all situations. If you would but open your eyes, never again would they close. And society.
Okay, I'm about to get as righteously angry as Moist. I feel like I'm getting dumber by watching every moment of this. This is interesting, but I'd rather watch him on Joe Rogan say crazy things than impeach himself.
But here's the thing about this. All right, let me choose my words carefully, man. Have you ever gone to like a theoretical presentation when someone just wax philosophical about abstract notions and things of that nature? Some of these people are extremely they're wildly intelligent, and
that was my entire college experience, and as you know, I got nothing out of it. So yeah.
I'm gonna get the Terrence Howard Joe Rogan clip. Just let it play for a little bit more.
Society's strict adherence to the artifacts of number history strikes the enlightened as rather suspicious.
Suspicious.
So how did the square root of 2 come about? Well, we must journey to the time of Pythagoras.
Matt says
and
no,
his
Steve.
followers.
Choose your words recklessly.
Flat geometry was beginning to sprout in Western minds.
It makes for a better podcast.
And of particular importance was the right triangle. A triangle with orthogonal edges meeting at a right angle.
I sent you something.
What we now call the Pythagorean theorem was being explored, and a simple situation
let this play all the way to the end.
Yo, why are you obsessed with this, man? No, this needs
Consider
to
a square
end.
with sides of unit length.
With sides of you, yo, it's so crazy the way he speaks.
But
he changes accent.
he's an extremely intelligent guy, man, who's just wildly. I don't even want to say misguided. I just
I used
disagree.
to think the true roadie was intelligent. Now I'm not so sure what's going on.
Again, man, smart people say dumb shit all the time when the researchers led them down.
It's
the
pretty
wrong
much
path.
their job.
Yeah. You don't think Tesla probably said some wild shit when those coils were going off in the back?
I think he was a crackhead.
Like Edison does it, and he's like, "No, I'm trying to tell you that I can send power back and forth without wires." Of course, now we realize that he might have been on something here.
Actually, oh man, we're about to be canceled right now. So, a lot of physicists and like high level thinking math dudes have done like meth. They do like a lot of meth. They do a lot of glass and stuff. To expand their mind so they can like come up with these ideas and stuff.
Yes.
Kids, I'm not telling you to snort or smoke anything, but
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to this.
He built the periodic table, built a new periodic table because the stuff I had learned in college. I went to school for chemical engineering the first year over at Pratt. And they, at the time, I think it was like 108 elements. And I told the teacher, the professor, about the relationship between hydrogen on the spectrometer and carbon and silicon and cobalt. And I was like, it's the same exact color, same tone, just doubled in each octave. And he was like, no, each element is the same element and it will always be that element. And I was like, you don't see the relationship. So I left school and I was going to spend 40 years rebuilding the periodic table. And I found out that Walter Russell had already did that.
Okay, so I want to quickly interject. So he's saying he had 1 year of chemical engineering school. So guys, I got to tell you, when I first started college, my first year, I was a physics engineering major. That is very demanding. Takes a lot of schooling, a lot of energy. I completed that year, and let me tell you, I don't know shit. I am not qualified to tell you anything about math, physics, or the universe. So there's no way that just being a freshman in this major that he learned anything of value.
Again, you're not looking at this correctly, man. You keep assuming that college is the place you go to learn. No, college is the place you go to teach other people how much you know about what they have been studying their entire lives. Because one person has walked into every so often, a very impressive person walks into a collegiate level and has a grasp on things that no one else can comprehend. But because of that one exceptional person, every other mid-level mediocre motherfucker thinks they're that person.
Right. They all think they're Goodwill Hunting. They're gonna solve the problem on the board.
Yeah.
But really, you ain't solving shit.
And I'm here to keep you in your place. I've warned
yeah.
you all about trying to ascend to what you think, the metaverse is trying to tell you. Steve will always be here to bring you down.
There is no ascension. No one's going anywhere. You're dying here just as you were born here, a slave in darkness and patheticness. Let's see what this guy is.
And he did it based upon the natural curvature of everything.
And when you say rebuild the periodic table, what do you mean specifically?
Well, the way the periodic table is laid out.
By the way, real quick, this is why Joe Rogan spoke so little in the interview, because he's scared and he doesn't know how to respond. You can tell he's like, for the first time in his life, he's speechless, and he's speaking because he has to speak, and he's like, "What do you mean by curvature of the earth?" And then he won't get the mic again for 45 minutes.
No, here's the thing, and I've been in that place a few times with a few different interviews. Obviously, nothing of this magnitude, man, but let's just say there's a lot of shit on the Hold Up TV hard drive that has never seen the light of day, where I'm just like, what the fuck just happened?
I'm sorry. Our greatest moments in podcasting, this team, the Fanboy Modeling School, all of us over on Fight Juice Productions online, greatest time was in Green Room. And I have to say, I remember there were a couple interviews that you had. Tuesday night. Conversations That Matter, you would have certain people on, and I would be like, literally, there are times I'd cover my mouth because I'd hear them say, like, your guests be saying the craziest shit, and I'd be like, she just said what now?
Yeah. And that's the stuff I aired, man. There have been a couple of interviews that I did not air, right? Where I was just like, I'll get back to you on that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about this situation. This is right up Joe Rogan's alley, his devil's alley. He loves this type of shit, aliens, quantum physics, and that shit.
He loves all this weird
He's
stuff,
the type of guy that wants to deconstruct everything except for taxes, right? He wants his taxes fixed. Wants that shit to stay the same, right? Also, Joe Rogan, he's a friend to the free thinker. He's a friend to the free speecher,
and I will forever love him for it. And that's why this dude is on his platform. That he invited him because he heard he was a free thinker. He's like, let's see what he has to say.
Also, I do want to point this out, man. Shout out to Joe Rogan for being an old head holding a very good position in this public commentary and in interview space, man. In a world where motherfuckers are sitting around the mic, slapping their sides, doing some weird version of what used to be a really cool dance that started off in New Jersey and Philly and Baltimore. Like, I just, the streamer kids, shout out to Joe Rogan. Shout out to Joe Rogan. And even shout out to Joe Budden. You know what I'm saying? For just like making the type of content that has a linear path. Right? There's a start, there's a middle, and there's an end. Like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Comment of the moment. Beck says math and meth makes sense. I guess
it does make sense.
I like the condos that matter.
Yes.
Okay. Gregory says doing good. I have to say, getting old is not for the weak. It isn't.
Oh, it isn't. It is not. It is not.
And as long as we're talking about the universe, does getting old make any sense?
Like the aging process or the words?
Why is it that we are supposed to get old to the point where like we become feeble, senile, unable to remember stuff, and we just keep existing until we malfunction in a critical way? Why did God, I love God. God bless Jesus. God bless us all. Thank you, Lord. Why is there no exit plan? Why is there no good exit plan?
There is an exit plan, especially if you believe in in Christianity.
I'm saying, why is there not an end that has dignity to it? That's my question for the night. We don't have to really get into it because it's
wow, that was dark. That was dark. I was like, you really want?
I don't really expect us. I'd rather make fun of Terrence Howard all night, but that's something that's bothering me right now. Why no dignity in the exit plan?
Mantis, I promise I'll make sure you have a dignified end. Even if you keep saying, no, Steve, I'm not ready to go yet. I'm like, no. You said on May 29th, 2024, you wanted it dignified. So
this
I hired
got dark fast.
I hired
we'll
all
talk
these
off
ninjas.
camera, brother. We'll talk off camera.
Out the periodic table they have now.
Let's see.
It
the
looks
periodic
like
table.
a
Pull up
box.
an image of it.
It looks like a straight box.
Mm-hmm.
And they
He
don't
plays
show
Black
the
Dracula.
relationship that between every element, there's two
All right, here's the periodic table.
you'll see hydrogen sitting all the way over there by itself, but they don't show that hydrogen has the same tone as carbon.
What do you mean by tone?
Same tone, same key of E. Same key of E. 40.5 hertz. The next one would be like 81 hertz. You go to silicone, it will double up and would be 162 hertz.
Remember
Yo,
the biopic?
whoa, wait a minute. He might be a genius. He's reading the periodic table like it's a musical note.
Yeah. Same hertz. Yeah.
Are you not blown away by this?
No, I'm never blown away by theoretical shit that people say, man.
He's a genius. I take
And
it all
just
back.
like that,
I take it all back.
This is why me and Mantis can't go hang out anywhere in public. Just like that, this motherfucker would have got up, left me in the audience by himself, joined the call, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
I'm like, you're missing out, Steve. You're missing out. I'm gonna wear the white hoodie. We're gonna do this. We're gonna 1 times 1 is 2. Sorry, I just slipped.
Go to
Welcome in, RM.
to cobalt, and ittle be 324 hertz.
Roxanne,
It's,
welcome in.
in that base, if you were to take the angles
She
of
says,
incidence,
I think Terrence
or
Howard and
the
my
tones
mom would
that they
vibe.
create, their color. Like you can turn color back into sound based upon it's the same wavelength. It's just twice as long or much longer. So all you have to do is keep dividing light by 2.
Keep that up, Jamie.
You keep dividing light by 2, and you'll ultimately get back to the audible sound of it, because there was a relationship between light and color, sound and tone, matter and shape. I put, I sent over Walter Russell's.
I was trying to get to that. That's what.
Yeah, it's Walter Russell's periodic table that he put together. Now you compare that to
Are you
what
up
we
on Walter Russell?
Mendeleev,
No idea what you're
Mendeleev's
talking about.
periodic table. You'll compare Walter Russell's to it, and you'll see something completely different. It's unwinding.
Whoa.
It's unwinding. And you see there's a relationship that hydrogen,
So you had figured this out at a young age?
I had already seen this. This was all inside of
Now,
this
pause
was
it,
all
pause it,
inside
pause it
of
for a
that
second, pause it.
palace. I had access.
So we got to look at the ratio statistically. Now, is there a chance that this motherfucker is so advanced that he has decoded some shit that us mere primates can't understand? 1 out of a billion, I would say. Maybe.
Is one day are they gonna have a Beautiful Mind 2 about him, and it's actually a thing where like in the future that's what the periodic table.
That was a bad pick because Nash was actually a crazy person.
Oh right.
But he
Oh,
did come up, he did come up with a functioning. He came up with a functioning principle for the way businesses should operate. And some people might say that his principle is the reason that the world's in the dire state that it is, because all the evil conglomerates agreed that, hey, we should all be moving together as opposed to working against each other. So I want to
would say
thank the
that's
motherfucker.
brilliant. Whether there's is there morality to scientific theory or hypothesis? I don't know, man. But I will say this. Yeah. And anyway, will one day we all will our grandkids be watching movies about Terrence Howard and be like, no one believed him, but he was smart?
Maybe. But then again, we all thought that The Matrix 4 was going to be amazing. So what do we know?
What do we know? Terrence Howard should play Eminem in a biopic, says Low.
Perfect pick.
Roxanne says, I think. She already said that. Shellin says, this dude is reminding me of Smoke Sessions. You boys get so gassed, he gets up and starts ranting about random crap.
It's a fact.
We need to get him and Kanye to go to discover faster than
No.
travel.
No one needs that. No one needs that, man. Bex, could you tell me what Terrence Howard's astrological pagan sign is, please?
Yeah, what
Yes,
is
to it.
Satan?
And I knew the
So you
relationship.
saw this in dreams.
I saw it as a circle. Everything was a full circle laid out, and each area was
I like
just
his jacket.
expanding, like wrapping a rag around your hand.
Yo, are you a True Detective fan?
I really enjoyed the first season. Never made it through any of the other
yeah,
seasons.
first season was really good, but when the cop is really getting crazy and
Yeah,
people
yeah.
ask him a straight up question and he just says, "Time is a flat circle." That's who he's reminding me of right now.
Yeah.
This dude is losing it.
Yeah. But he seems so put together. I really enjoyed him as the first war machine. Right. And that's how crazy people work their way into your lives. And then the cult opens up off in the Caribbean island. Right.
He's a Pisces. Yeah, he's a Pisces.
First rap, it's so tight. The very first rap is so tight. That's the first one that Walter Russell did. Yeah. But go back to the Wiggly one.
The Wiggly one.
This is how I saw it more so, but as a vortex. But you'll see there's a relationship between hydrogen, carbon, silicon, cobalt, rhodium. They're all bonded. They're all sit as the middle point between two noble gases. So those things don't really exist. It's only one substance. Now, the problem is the first thing that we're able to perceive is hydrogen.
Man, this is
That's the
line and
first
sinker.
visible.
Going deeper and deeper.
Okay, so we obviously we don't have time because it was a 3-hour podcast and he spoke for most of it. We obviously can't analyze all of it, but I will
Right.
say this: if you're not already scared, or maybe you don't know enough about chemistry or any of these things to really be scared about what he's saying, I'll tell you this: he says, I'll give you some cliff notes about what's going on. He says he remembers being in the womb. He remembers being born. Yeah. He says a bunch of stuff, man.
Yes.
Some real wild stuff.
But he doesn't say anything that's never been said before, man. There's another prominent figure recently that just came out and said they remember being in the womb too. I can't remember who the fuck it was.
Probably Joe Biden, but he remembers being in a diaper.
Oh man, Joe Biden and Robert De Niro, right? Looking bad,
Yeah,
strutting around, just half dead. Let it play some more. He sucked old man balls.
The lithium becomes sodium in the next octave, doubles the same exact tone, just doubled and
Look at Rogan.
wider. The sodium
Look
becomes
at
potassium in the next octave.
Rogan is
Lightens up.
blown
The
away.
reason that arsenic kills us is because our DNA has nitrogen and it has phosphorus in it, because nitrogen unwinds into the next octave right after silicon and becomes phosphorus. Our DNA has both of those in there, but it's going by tone. So the moment arsenic, which sits as a -3 on the next octave, the moment arsenic is introduced, the body thinks that, oh, this is my thing that I need. And it tries to wrap itself around the arsenic, but it causes the DNA to unravel because it's 4 times as large as that nitrogen was. It's like when, like I said, if you wrap the rag around your hand The first rap, really tight. You can't get
Okay, I take it back. Don Cheadle all the way. Don Cheadle all the way. Why would they let a maniac like this on set? This man is a psychopath, and he's ruining this country.
Oh man.
So another thing that he actually says, which is not in this clip, but he says right now that he's about to do away with gravity.
Ah, yes.
And he believes that he has a formula that will create anti-gravity, and that gravity will not be a thing because it's something this actor created.
Listen to me. At some point, he's going to pop up on your screen and he's going to ask you to go on a journey to help him find the anti-life equation. And it's going to be up to you to decide whether or not this motherfucker.
We all know I'm going to go and then kill him a moment before he gets it. Take it for myself. Lowe says he sucked old man balls in Iron Man. I guess Man's just gonna end up dead on an altar to the number 2. Terrence Howard sounds like a gypsy woman. Says back. So what are we supposed to make of this? I normally love him. I love Empire.
Wait, did they? Holy smokes! Did they censor Matt's thing in the actual YouTube chat over here?
What did he say?
Just because he said he sounded like a gypsy woman? Never mind. Don't worry about what I'm doing over here. It disappeared. But go ahead, continue.
Oh no, I wouldn't be surprised because YouTube is a we don't need to get into it.
YouTube really is interested in the rights of gypsies. Is what you want to say?
Most people cannot identify what a gypsy is because there isn't one definitive thing that a gypsy is. Yet all these liberals are like, yo, gypsy rights, stop being a racist about the gypsies. You don't know what the fuck a gypsy is. A gypsy is a general term for a drifter, motherfucker. But I digress. I'm sorry. Once again, it's not directed at you and my loving fans. It's directed at these young people I was bitching about earlier. It's young people that are a problem. Once again, that's the thesis of this podcast.
Right.
Honestly,
so you don't believe that Terrence Howard has awakened his third? Okay, now let me not even do that. You don't believe that he could quite possibly just be that advanced that he is breaking down systems at certain points before systems existed. There were other systems that existed. Then someone came along and said, "Au contraire, mon frère," or they built upon the system. It happens, right?
I agree. I hear you on that. And basically, I don't know enough about music or the periodic table to defute anything that he's saying. But I do know crazy. I was raised in crazy. Both of my parents were crazy people. And so I know when they're cooking and you start cooking and you're like, you open your eyes, you're like, wait a minute, this person is totally deranged. That is this gentleman right here. I love him. Wish he was Rhodey.
Right.
Wish he was doing Armored Wars. He's not. Instead, he's in a gutter doing math with Play-Doh or whatever. But he isn't. He is a nutcase, and maybe he's right. Let's say in the craziest thing, he's right. People aren't ready for this. People are not ready for what he's delivering. So maybe he needs to. Once again, I'm going to say it, and it's fucked up because he's dark skinned. Shut up and dribble. I want you to be Rhodey on the screen and shut up about mathematics. Shut up about how brilliant you are and just be Rhodey.
He's more brown than dark. We got to start acknowledging the brown community within the black experience. You guys want to push everyone into your polar extremes, light and dark. He's brown.
When it comes down to it, there is no light and dark. Humans are all the same. Right. There is no difference between us genetically, right?
Well, except for those motherfuckers that have bigger lungs that can swim underwater. What's that tribe that's like they've evolved from swimming around? They're like damn near the blue people in Avatar. You ever seen these motherfuckers before?
I haven't, but we need to.
Give me a second.
We need to collect their genes. Let me put it like that. If they have something valuable like that, yes. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I was wondering,
Right.
did you have any final thoughts on Terrence Howard? Because I don't know if we can, how much
I'm gonna
further we
watch
can watch.
tomorrow. Even though it's my birthday, I'm gonna dedicate a full hour, right? And that's more time than I gave Alex Jones on Joe Rogan to this entire thing because I've only watched clips thus far.
What I predict is that everyone's like, Mantis is going to fall for this. Mantis is one of those guys who fall for cults. Yes, I've been a member of multiple cults. However, I will say this. I'm not falling for this. I think the real problem is my buddy boy here, Steve,
What?
who's more likely to be into doing cult stuff.
No, I'm the worst occult person ever because
You're going to watch this and you're going to be like, and you're going to, after an hour of it, you're going to be brainwashed.
no, listen to me. The simplest thing is the truth, right? And when some motherfucker comes to me and they say they have secret knowledge, you can always trust that I'm gonna be like, I would have been horrible during biblical times. Like for sure, I would have been horrible. Like Joshua comes back, Moses comes back. I'm like, what? Who? Did what?
Yeah, you are a hater like that.
I'm not a hater.
But before this podcast ends, by the way, Lo says, Mantis, you need to join my cult. I want to hear all about it. Hit me up in the DMs.
Oh, it's let's see, the scattered through the indigenous and Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines. The Baju are a semi-nomadic tribe of fishers with extraordinary free diving skills. Some of these motherfuckers can hold their breath for upwardly to like 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, like past what a Navy.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's a fact. No, and here's the crazy thing about this being a fact. There's video evidence of it. It's been timed. It's been recorded by scientists.
I believe it. It's not that.
No, not you. I'm talking about how we measure facts and not crazy people quoting other crazy people. Like the fact that he said, hey, now bring up this guy's version of the periodic table. Can't you see there's another version? Look at how impactful it is to have.
Right, and somehow it's because a guy drew a picture, it validates his insanity. But just because some dude drew it doesn't make it so. But before this thing ends, I'm hoping that we're able to talk about Marvel because we got some things to talk about Marvel.
All right, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
And,
damn, did we really spend an hour and a half on Terrence? I flew by.
And no jumper. Dragon Lady says happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you. Let's talk Marvel. So nothing good happening over in Marvel except for Deadpool versus Wolverine. Tickets are completely sold out.
Totally sold out.
Records being broken. The haters avoiding this topic so much. The woke, anti-woke people are just they're ducking and dodging this because they have to make sure it sucks. Because if they take a stance on it, they're just gonna look like idiots. So that's low-hanging fruit. Spider-Man 4.
I heard the worst, such bad rumors about Spider-Man 4 that, if it's remotely true, I'm out. I'm done with all MCU properties. That will be the thing that will just end me.
Really? That bad?
Yeah, and so the rumor is that the villains are going to be Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus from the original Spider-Man movies again, and that Tobey Maguire's gonna be in it.
What? Wait, run that one back.
That they're going to have William Dafoe's Green Goblin, and they're gonna have Doc Octopus, Molina's version, and Tobey Maguire are gonna be in it, and they're gonna continue with this multiverse thing. Now, once again, these leaks are worth, they're paper thin garbage, right?
That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. That is quite possible. So they're gonna have Tobey Maguire star in the four. That is the dumbest leak I've heard.
Star, but appear, but it's still stupid to do the same thing they did last.
So that would be fucking retarded. The leaks that I've people are discussing and everything like that, and officially even not Andrew Garfield. What's the young man's name that plays Spider-Man in the MCU? What's his name?
Tom Holland.
We're
going to get into in a second.
Zendaya's boyfriend.
Mr. Zendaya.
I like Tom Holland, dude. Here's the thing, right? The leaks that I've heard coming out, or what people are reporting on, are that the Venom story is going to be huge in this one, and that it's going to distinguish itself from what they're doing over there in Sony. And that might possibly be rustling some feathers wrong because the MCU is like, no, we're gonna make this Venom shit make sense, and Sony's like, no, 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 no. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have more Venoms. And we're
So there is a connection because there's as this rumor came out, another rumor came out for Venom: The Last Dance, which is going to be the title of his third movie, and that claims that the reason why Madam Web changed his plot, its original plot was those three girls were supposed to be protecting a baby Peter Parker, is because they stole that plot and applied it to Venom. And the idea is that Venom is supposed to get some sort of futuristic vision that a young Peter Parker is going to grow up to kill him. And he's going to have interactions with a teenage Peter Parker unpowered.
And Sony. They're going to have this in Sony. All right, there's no need for us to talk about that shit. Intelligent. You know what? Sony is Terrence Howard's entire theory. It's the periodic table that doesn't exist. That's how I treat that.
That's the theme of tonight. Idiotic shit that doesn't exist includes Terrence Howard's education, Terrence Howard's blueprint to reality, these rumors, the two rumors I just uttered, all of it. It's all just nonsense. Shaolin says, I refuse to believe that rumor. That sounds dreadful. Matt Cat says, see, I read in Twitter that the symbiote was going to attach to Scorpion and Aunt May was going to be back in it somehow.
Yeah, and you know who's feeding all these rumors? It's whoever's working on the set of Spider-Man, right? That's they get the conversation going, and that's it's just.
And they're doing a good job because people have all sorts of crazy rumors about stuff.
Matt said something about YouTuber X. We never want to miss any of these comments. So below says we all know they're going to make Zendaya as Spider Chick and phase out Peter. I don't think they would do that.
Miles is going to take over for him.
They only phase out male characters if they're black, with black women in the MCU, and I can prove
if
that.
They're white with black.
No. If they're black, I can prove that. The Black Panther sequel, I believe that would have gone. Listen to me, follow me, and this is going to ring true with you. I think they were planning on replacing Chadwick Boseman's character with Shuri, and they couldn't wait to do it. They were sitting in their office. Listen, they were sitting in their offices, and they're like jerking off and fingering themselves to it. They're like, "How the fuck can we make this shit more
woke? More woke? My old face. No, there's. You know what? It's. I think it's obvious that movie would have run way more smoother if Black Panther was really in it, if the real Chadwick, if he had survived,
absolutely,
allowed to be in it would have been a way better movie.
It would have been a whole different story. But I'm telling you, somewhere in that story room, in that storyboard, the writer's room, there was someone saying, what we need to make sure that Black Panther really speaks to the black community is to make sure that one of these characters is a small, tiny person, LGBTQ, half fish, black woman to lead Wakanda.
That's his YouTuber X. The Venom trailer is supposed to be out according to YouTuber X. The Venom trailer is supposed to be out next week. Well, we'll see. I really hope there isn't this weird time travel or vision plot going on. Beck says that's actually a great way to describe Sony.
It is. It's the periodic table from hell, man.
It's Terrence Howard's crazy. He's like the octave and the curve. It's curving around the tone. What are you talking about, bro? Can you define these terms? He can't even define terms.
I'm telling you right now, as Terrence Howard is saying that, I envision a bunch of well-meaning women, whether they be black, brown, yellow, whatever, all dressed in dashikis, just going like this as he's talking. Like, I'm telling you, man, that man's got game.
Nothing makes my body retract my penis into itself and lock down, literally to the point where like you would need dynamite to get to it. Than a white chick in a dashiki.
Well, shit, don't go to Atlanta.
You heard it here, folks. Next summer, I'm going to Atlanta. And so finally, on Spider-Man news, I want to point this out. Tom Holland, the reviews are in for him and Black Juliet in Romeo and Juliet. and supposedly he sucks.
Wait, what are we talking about? Is he in a movie where he plays
No,
opposite of-
so here's what it is. You know how Tom Holland is constantly obsessed with proving he's a real actor?
Yeah.
He's decided to do the Broadway equivalent in England, and he decided to do Romeo and Juliet. And so they did a Romeo. He's doing a Romeo and Juliet. And check this out. It's Romeo and Juliet where everyone wears jeans and a black shirt. There's no. It's a play. It's like no set, no whatever. Very basics. He's playing Romeo and Juliet. You know, he's got a black co-star or whatever. Supposedly the reviews are in, and he sucks as being Romeo. Now we've talked about it. I think you have definitely been very verbal about it. That Tom Holland has tried really hard to be considered a real actor, and he's constantly trying to do these movies or these plays to make him look like he's legitimate.
Right.
And apparently he sucks, according to critics, and we can't always trust critics.
Yeah, first of all, fuck musical critics. Like, they are the lowest form of critics, right next to fucking food critics. Fuck them too.
Food critic. Oh my god.
Except for that one young brother that goes around critiquing food, and I forget his name. Something Lee. Young brother with dreads. I respect it.
Oh, I know that dude. Yeah.
I like that dude is cool. I don't believe any of this shit, but that shit, Tom Holland trying to cozy up to the thespian community. You're already an actor, bro. I believe he has a wide range. You just cannot pick bad movies, right? You cannot pick bad movies. Tom Cruise, you can't buy into that Tom Cruise philosophy. You make it better. No, Tom, if the script sucks, it's fucking The Mummy too. It's The Mummy the remake,
exactly.
right?
He couldn't save The Mummy, right?
Yeah. Let's move on to what might be the most upsetting news.
Ooh,
Or a piece of conjecture that I think is a great place to spend the next half hour or so.
I mean, I could talk all night about what we're about to talk about. Clearly,
Cue up the video. Cue up the video. So I am a true diehard Blade fan. As in, I am honest enough to say I didn't like that motherfucker on the Spider-Man animated show. And I definitely didn't give a fuck about him when he was in the comics running around with an afro and a fucking a popped up collar saying, "Show you right, killing vampires." But when the movie came out, I remember exactly the night I went to go see it. I was with my girlfriend at the time and a bunch of my friends. It was the first time I had a job that paid actual money. And I remember getting my first check of exactly $480, which at the time, folks, seemed like $1 million to me.
Yes. In the 90s, that was like, whoa.
Big money. We went to go see this movie, Blade, on the east side. We stopped at Town Records first because the Lauryn Hill CD had just dropped recently, or they're around the same time.
Oh my God, Lauryn Hill and Blade in the same week. That's crazy.
I bought the Lauryn Hill CD, bought one for my girlfriend, and then we went to go see the movie. And then the opening scene, which has one of my favorite actors in it, the guy who played Shane on The Shield, getting taken away by a B porn star into the bloodbath party. Iconic scene, changed the way everyone thought about raves in movies. There's only two movies that have done this extremely well: Hackers and fucking Blade. They brought that commercial level of rave to the movies. That opening scene was amazing, and I had a great fucking time.
Here's the ultimate review I'll tell you right now, which is super quick. It holds up. If you were to watch Blade 1 right now, I bet you most people would be entertained.
Absolutely.
Which you can't say about the original Captain America or the Fantastic Four from that era or even the X-Men movies. I don't think they even hold up.
No, they don't hold up. Good guy.
But Blade holds up. It has great scenes, great enemies, great dialogue, great twists.
There's actually some really beautiful shots in Blade, man.
Yeah.
There's some really
says, I love Blade.
The fight scenes were amazing.
Boki says, see you. Oh, Dragon Lady, you taking off?
Good night, Dragon Lady.
Roxanne says, I read on Twitter today that it's bad for black folks in Hollywood when they're not even casting black British actors. Oh, Yeah, that's got to be bad.
I gotta ask a question before you. I love all three Blade movies. Yeah, actually, you know what, Matt? I watched the uncut Blade 3 movie, Trinity, and it's a damn good. Someone consciously decided to cut out all the good stuff in that movie and release the bullshit.
Yo, here's what it is. I saw 3 in the theaters, and I didn't even mind it. I didn't think it was horrible. People later on was like, "It's so stupid, it's so stupid." I don't think it was horrible at all.
No.
The director's cut's way better, but
Yeah.
I have to say, yeah, all 3 of them hold up. I'm into it.
Oh,
In 2, I'll say this: there's a little special effects that could.
Oh,
be
yeah,
interrupted.
shit. Yeah. So I gotta just say that Nomak was a result of them not being able to clear Morbius from Sony and shit like that. Because I believe heavily that's who that character was supposed to be.
I agree. Absolutely. There's no
But
guy.
that movie, there's a scene in Blade 2 when Nomak kills all the henchmen, right? And it's just like this back and forth between him and Blade. Who's the better badass?
Running up walls and stuff.
Yeah. So wait, hear me on this. Right before they show that scene with Nomak, Blade goes on another henchman killing scene. If you don't know Blade movies, there is always going to be a scene where he kills like
Murdering
90 henchmen.
mad
And
vampires. Right.
each one of them dies a horrible death. The next scene is of Morpheus. I'm Nomak, sorry. And he literally has ripped apart every one of these guys. And he lets out this battle cry with the open mouth. And I remember being in the movie there. I'm like, this shit is fucking amazing, bro. Now, here we find ourselves, and I have to ask you a very poignant question. I wish there was someone who claimed to be woke or was really high up on representation in movies right now. Is there anyone here or who will watch this video later that is really interested in seeing Blade's daughter take over the mantle? Were you even aware that Blade had a daughter? Is there anyone here that really, really does not understand the formula of what makes Blade successful, has nothing to do with strong black female characters? Why is this something that must happen? Can someone help me understand what is happening? Can someone help me understand? Is it me? Is it me? Wait, what does this have to do with vampires and a character that kills vampires? We have Mahershala Ali stepping up to play the role.
The king of the blacks. I'm going to say this right now. In terms of black celebrities, and we're not talking about the older ones. Obviously, the old school is still there. Denzel's still in the game, but he can't.
Yeah.
Obviously, the people I'm about to list, you can't cast as Blade because of their age. But we've got Denzel, we've got Morgan Freeman, we got a bunch of people. Obviously, we can't cast them, so we need to talk about younger people. So Mahershala Ali is the perfect fit to be Blade. And they have had him on the wire since, I think, 2016, maybe.
And he's not a young man.
Yeah, they announced it in 2016, and they've had him on just waiting for them to have a script.
But is there someone that can help me understand it? Is there someone that can help me understand? Is there something I'm missing, Mantis? Like, tell me if I'm wrong, bro. What does having strong black female characters take over the role of what Blade's doing? What does that have to do with the story? Why is that needed?
I know you don't like the term in the announcement, but like, it's about wokeness. They can't have men doing shit anymore. It's not our time anymore in Hollywood. Hollywood is trying to sell this agenda where we are a problem, masculinity is a problem, and we need girl bosses. However, one of the problems I have with girl bossery is instead of women in girl bossery films and television, instead of them solving things like a woman, they always solve it like a man. They try to make Rey a man in Star Wars when they don't realize if you're gonna have a female protagonist, have her be a woman, have her have the emotional range and do things like a woman. Instead, they're like, you know what? Wouldn't it be awesome if she mimicked everything about a man? It's total fucking nonsense.
Have you? I agree with you. Has anyone here? So they have. I saw this coming, right? Because if they roll out in the comics, there's a good chance it's going to happen in the MCU, right? Or now vice versa. If it happens in the MCU, it's going to happen in the comics. And Blade's daughter has a comic now. So I don't know if you know this. He joined the Avengers, and right before they did the rollout at that Comic-Con that year, he was on the Avengers doing Avengers shit, right? And then they roll out Blade. And then Blade leaves the Avengers. He's still a member, but he goes to Transylvania because Dracula has started the Vampire Nation, and he wants Blade to be the sheriff of the Vampire Nation. And the reason he did that is for Dracula reasons. Obviously, he's trying to corrupt Blade, blah, 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 blah. And then Blade comes back to America, trains his daughter, which he found out he had a daughter with some other character.
How old is she?
She's in her early 20s.
Oh, guys, she's a woman.
Yeah, she's a woman. It's his daughter. And
no, because you could have said, daughter could be anything from like a 6-year-old or up.
Oh yeah. I thought you were gonna go outside the chromosome of what we recognize daughters to be. Never mind.
No. I was just making sure. Like, I'm like, is he training a 6-year-old? Or is he training a 25-year-old?
But here's the thing, right? The daughter is like the comic is what it is, right? There are some people who enjoy it. There are some people who don't. I don't think it's strong enough to stand on its own. And I know you can't answer the question for me, my best friend, my brother. But where is the fan representation for this? Is there a margin that I'm missing? Like, all right, let's just play Tower Magnus, but answer the question. Like this, I'm upset.
I want to answer the question before we play because I have to say this, and so, it's not an attack on you or anything, but it is something that I feel like I've been saying for a while, that both comics and the MCU do not give a fuck about their fans, and they have an agenda as to what they're pushing. And for years, comics have, as sales plummet, they keep pushing some agenda, and it is a woke agenda. I know people hate that term. I get it. I get why people get so offended by it, because it's overused by bullies and mean people. But at the end of the day, there is this kind of thing to be like, let's push this woke agenda. And so Young Ripple was talking about the other day where he's like, how many of my heroes are going to turn gay? Right?
Exactly.
And so it's a similar thing. And one of the things that happens is in the woke agenda is that you can't have heterosexual men in charge of shit. We're problematic. We're bullies. We're mean. We accomplish shit, and they don't like accomplishing shit. Apparently, they like movies like the Marvels, where people don't accomplish anything.
Where is YouTubers actually? I meant to ask you this. This is just did she ever review that movie, and did she stand up for it in any way? Because she is the type of person that called for female representation.
So she is naturally a hater. So when she first reviewed it, she hated on it. Then afterwards kept saying, I don't know, it's good. She's like slowly trying to protect women. But she's a bandwagoner ultimately. And so when the world turned on it, she's like, you know what? Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. Let's see what this good brother Tyron Magnus.
Real quick, let's check in with our guys over here. MacCat says you're incorrect. X2 is still awesome. I do like X2. I don't know if I'm playing myself. Shaolin says I was 11 when that came out. My dad took me to see it. I remember him getting uncomfortable in a blood rave. It started. Yeah, that's a great scene.
Holy shit! You were 11 years old when that came out, Shaolin. What the hell? I'm an old man.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, Rico, welcome. Damn, I basically missed this week too. You missed it all, Rico. Get with it. Matt says, I don't even want to see a woman in a Blade movie except maybe Lilith. Lilith would be a great villain for him.
And here's the crazy thing about that fucking Midnight Suns game they came out with. They made up a whole fake character named the Hunter, and they have a Hunter character. They have multiple Hunter characters, and they made up because they needed a playable character where you could switch between the gender. Okay,
God.
I can fix that one. You can do, what's homegirl's name? Doria Blackheart, or they should just have to show
Elsa Bloodstone.
Elsa Bloodstone
is the female Hunter. That's
and Blade. Boom, pick one of them.
Yeah, that would be great if the Blade movie had him teaming up with her. That would be great. Roxanne says, was Blade's daughter's mother studying vampires in the Amazon?
Probably.
That is the best comment. Star right there. Get that star. Roxanne also says CB Selesky is a proud Japanese man who loves diversity. It's funny that she says that because he's not. He's a waifu, or not a waifu. A weeaboo.
What the fuck is that?
A weeaboo is a white dude who thinks he's Japanese, and everything he does is Japanese. He's just like, I take martial arts. I watch anime. I only date Asian chicks.
I take my shoes off before I
Yes.
come.
Oh, right. Definitely. There's no shoes in a weeaboo's house. Matt Cat says, Grace said the Marvel said it was fun, and every time she watches it now, she's like, it's more and more. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, she's wrong because it's garbage. But let's see what Magnus has to say.
Turns to Ish. A lot of these actors, and I would venture to say that the majority of these actors, directors, producers are not on board with this garbage that is going on. However, the machine is moving in that direction. They took all these ESG and DEI loans, and they have to fulfill what they said they were going to do, and contractual obligations and all this stuff. And as you know, I know people. And from what I understand, they are very happy that very many of us YouTubers are speaking out on this because they can't. They are afraid. They are afraid of being canceled, of losing their jobs, losing their money, losing their fans, being fired from projects, because they are just scared of going against the woke.
Yeah.
So, another casualty, possibly, of the woke, or the message. Marvel's Blade doomed. Mahershala Ali exiting the role.
Hey, pause it real quick.
It is now said things are back to square one, and that too many of key players are not happy.
Shout out to Tom. This is real quick. Shout out to Mr. Magnus for pronouncing his name correctly. I just want to give him respect on that.
Yes, he's awesome. Magnus is amazing. But I gotta say that, like, the reason why I believe this so hard is that Mahershala Ali left the project earlier. Remember, they were having difficulties writing the script, and then he was like, "I'm out." And then Kevin Feige went and sat down with him and had a meeting one-on-one. It was like, "Yo, bro, we love you, bro. Don't do it." And then he turned around. However, it was already public knowledge he left, and then he came back. And I understand why he's fed up. The fact that the other day they had to say we're getting a completely new writer, he's just like, "Yo, how long do we have to wait for this movie?" Right?
And if it turns out to be that, like, anyway, just let it play, because I haven't actually watched this, to be honest with you, bro. When you sent it today,
I know that things were not going well because they wanted Blade's daughter to take over for him. And Mahershala Ali was not down with that and went through all these different revisions and scripts, and finally, they said, we're going to get back to basics. Blade killing vampires.
Yes.
Yay!
Who would have thought? Give the fans what they want, and you most likely will succeed. Following up on last week's report.
What's crazy is the working title. They had even said last month. I remember during my birthday.
Yeah.
I remember I was at my birthday dinner with my sister, and I went to the bathroom and I checked my phone, and the working title for Blade was The Continuing Adventures of the Vampire Hunter Blade. And I was like, that's a good title for a movie.
It's a good title.
I'm into
and
it.
we got the video game coming out too. I'm still gonna play the shit out of that video game.
I'll play the shit out of it because that's the only Blade I'm gonna get, because I don't think Marvel will ever finish these movies.
Nope. No.
Let me be a hater. I'm sorry.
That Blade is undergoing another rewrite with at least a 7th writer. Now, it's questioned if the Marvel movie that has been in development for 5 years is doomed. With it also questioned if Mahershala Ali is leaving the role. Recent rumor from Daniel RPK offers writer Michael Green.
I have to say, out of all the people who leak stuff, Daniel RPK is the most consistent truth teller.
Leaker.
Yeah, leaker, whatever you want to call them. The truth is, so that's not a good sign.
No.
exited Blade, and that significant revisions are happening again, said to include the addition of a new male villain, with production possibly pushed back from the summer to the fall.
Oh boy.
This is this is on top of all previous problems that include, it reported, the script featured Blade as a second-rate character in his own movie that focuses on female characters. The Force is female. That's what's best. To lose billions and lose millions of fans, yes. That's what's best. And to make all the fans angry.
He's got feelings. He's legit.
Yes,
Too
man.
many of the key players are not happy.
Pause it.
Now YouTuber
Let
John
me keep it a
Campia
B
weighs
with you,
in and
man.
says,
Let me keep it a B with you, right? I would dare say, if people would intellectually be honest, that more black men related to Blade before there was ever a thought of there being a Black Panther live action film. Like, yeah, there were diehards who enjoyed the concept of Black Panther in the comics, but let's keep it real, man. Wesley Snipes, brothers started wearing trench coats after they saw it was between Wesley and Morpheus and fucking the Matrix. Brothers started wearing glasses everywhere. It got a little weird out there, man. Like, obviously, he's gonna have that. We've been waiting for this one. I was a little upset when they picked Mahershala Ali over Wesley Snipes, but Wesley Snipes is too old to continue to roll and can be a bit eccentric.
Yeah, we want new blood. This is This is why I'm kind of upset about Deadpool and Wolverine. Right, and so the whole thing is like, why are they bringing these older actors? I think it would have been better if they never mentioned or brought in the older actors, not even for fun, multiversal fun, and they just brought in new actors.
I think that speaking about that, I think that we're probably going to see a young Wolverine in Deadpool.
But here's what I'm saying: we just saw an old Wolverine, a Wolverine that we love, we're connected to.
Die. You should have
Is
said
it going to make it more difficult for us to accept this young one?
No, not for me, bro. Because here's what it is: none of this shit is real. It's just comics. It's just movies. As long as it's done well, that's
bro. I don't think it's real. I'm not a little kid. I don't slurp on lollipops. I don't suck on my thumb. I'm not wearing a diaper. I know this shit is fictional, bro. I mean, go on. I'm just saying they should have never mentioned the old universes and just had the new shit. New shit. I want to see new shit.
Is that what you think kids do? You think kids suck on their thumb?
They suck on the thumbs. They suck on the lollipops, which are all metaphor for. Well, I'm not going to continue with that.
You spend too much time in liberal arts major dorms and shit.
I
like
did.
That.
I was many liberal arts majors in many different places, and I've seen it all. You're all sick animals.
It's crazy since we're talking about this, man. I said the Comic Cast podcasting, and it kind of ties into this. So far, none of this is actually confirmed, right? Very reputable leakers have said this is what's going on, and we're all praying against it. But apparently, on the other side of the positive leaker table, people are saying that Marvel is finally trying to address one of its greatest memes, the post-credit scenes that lead nowhere. Like, you remember that post-credit scene?
Yeah, Screen Crush did a thing on it, and they were like, here are the 28 scenes that never led anywhere. And they did this long-ass video, like a 40-minute video of just all these. And I was like, damn, I didn't realize how, like, neglectful MCU is.
Yeah. In my mind, in my headcanon, what I'm hoping was going to happen with the Blade movie, they were going to take a character like the Black Knight and give us some great sword fighting scenes, right? That would have with the ebony blade. This motherfucker's fucking off vampires, cutting demons' heads off and shit. Oh, it would have been amazing. But no, the MCU needs a gender XY expressing Black immigrant polyamorous blob to somehow take over the reins.
Rage, red rage. Matt Cat says, Mantis, does this look like an effing sippy cup? It's a juice box, bitch. Shaolin says, that's why Fox Mutants gotta go. Recast these characters already. Yeah, the more they have, like, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, all these guys, they're just delaying the ability to recast them. I don't know why they delayed recasting the X-Men. The moment I had the rights to the X-Men, I would have immediately started introducing X-Men. And credit scenes all over the damn place. And there's so many places they could have done it.
Yeah. No, but here's the problem, my brother. They wanted to do a slow roll on the X-Men, where that now, in retrospect, should have been the next arc. Fuck the multiverse. It should have been.
The multiverse is failing on every level. No one cares about this. No one likes it. No one's having fun. People are like, we need to close it properly. We need to recast so-and-so. Do not recast. Just move on with your life and bring in the X-Men and make money. What's wrong, Kevin Feige? You don't like making money? Here's what I'm saying. Your bitch daughter needs braces. You don't want to pay for those? Jesus Christ, what is wrong with these people? That's what I'm saying. And I believe, I never played football, but I'm a football-minded guy. Forward progression. I'm here to make that money.
Bro, can you believe we might get Moon Knight season 2 before Blade even starts shooting?
We might. Here's the horrible thing. The MCU has reclassified Miss Marvel into a mutant. We're gonna get season 2 of her before we see a single mutant on the screen. I've already vomited in my throat. I've swallowed it because I'm a real man. Fuck you, Kevin Feige, and fuck you, MCU.
Let that settle in, man. We're gonna get Miss Marvel season 2 before we get the Academy Award winning actors debuted in the MCU as one of the most beloved characters. Did Miss Marvel get a standing O at any Comic-Con?
No, people hate it.
Do you remember when Mahershala?
No, people don't hate it, but almost no one watched it. It has
No.
half.
Like the announcement of the actor and like that the show is being made. Do you remember when they had Mahershala Ali come out?
Yes, people love that. They lost their minds, Miss Marvel ain't got shit.
I don't. This is why I didn't want to talk. I kind of didn't want to talk about this shit. We're gonna end the show completely defeated. We got motherfuckers remixing science. We got motherfuckers.
To be honest, the reason why I would go to the science cult is because of how the MCU is handling itself.
You're just hoping that it would change. Maybe Reed Richards is there. Maybe Terrence Howard is Reed Richards. Holy shit! You know what? You know how God is gonna punish you? He's gonna cast Terrence Howard.
Wait, he's gonna punish me?
Yeah, he's gonna cast Terrence Howard as Reed Richards in the MCU.
Wait, but why is he punishing me?
Because you even thought to believe that madman was making sense for a second. Is a great mortal sin.
The road to salvation is to believe in Jesus Christ, not to believe in Jesus Christ and that 1 times 1 is 1.
Yeah, but you were getting hooked in there for a second. Everyone saw it. Your eyes were gleaming up. You're like,
I was, but I'm just saying it has nothing to do with salvation, bro. Read your Bible.
You were about to forsake your salvation and follow that madman is what I'm inferring, you psychopath.
Anyway, guys, we have had such a good time here on Fanboy Modeling School. It is time for us to hit the
hell out of here.
Where
man.
can they find you, Steve?
I'll be back. Mic check on Sunday, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., man, covering all of hip-hop's debauchery and failing ways, making sure that you never get sucked into complicated math cults.
And you can find that over on Live 365 or
Riz Radio.
on Riz Radio or anywhere. You can find Riz Radio anywhere other radio apps. Or guys, for the rest of the week, you're gonna hear me in the mid-drive. However, I'm moving to weekends, and my new show is gonna be called Big Time Beta Energy. It's gonna start at 6 p.m. to 10, and telling jokes, being the fat mantis. However, and on Monday, starting then, Fanboy Modeling School clips can be found on Riz Radio for the evening. We're going to be doing 6 to... No, I'm sorry. It's late, guys. We're going to be doing 4 p.m. to midnight. And it's going to be amazing. So please tune in to us. If you have missed this episode, you can always find us on Riz Radio, wherever radio programs are found.
Right.
My man, you want to take us out?
Thanks for coming through, everyone. We'll be back next Wednesday or sometime there similar. Y'all have a good night.
We're random like that. Suck it.